There are 10 ways where the S22 Ultra beats the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, even though the S22 Ultra is half a year older than the iPhone, and we're of course due to get the S23 Ultra in just a few months' time. Number one is very obvious, and it's the 10 times telephoto lens on the back of the S22 Ultra. Now this year, Apple decided to go with basically the same camera as last year, except the iPhone 14 Pro now has a new 2 times telephoto option. But the iPhone is no comparison at all for the S22 Ultra's 10 times telephoto lens, and that insane 100 times digital zoom as well. I personally found the 10 times lens is genuinely useful when capturing those moments, when you're a little bit further away. The quality, the detail, the colors, they're all excellent with the Ultra's S22 10 times lens. Now the next thing is something which other YouTubers have recently given away to the iPhone for some mad reason: customization. And I don't think we will ever see a day where the iPhone becomes more customizable than Android. It's just not how things work. Now with Android, you can customize practically anything from the basics like app icons and colors and home screens, always on displays, right down to even using a different launcher like I'm using here that completely changes the entire operating system of the phone. Now iPhone coined the phrase, there's an app for that, but on Android there is literally an app for customizing anything when it comes to customizing your phone. And it goes way beyond the aesthetics of the phone, from genuinely useful customizations using Bixby routines that allow you to have your phone do specific things when you're in certain locations or connecting to certain devices. Now you do get some of these features with the iPhone Shortcuts app, yes, I know, but it is nowhere near as granular as Bixby routines. So customization, I'm sorry, undoubtedly goes to Android, and the king of Android phones, the S22 Ultra. Now the next feature is one that shouldn't even be a feature, but Apple has made it that way out of just like sheer stubbornness, or so it seems. Now USB-C is rumored to come to the iPhone 15, but for now, the iPhone 14 and 14 Pro Max unfortunately still come with a Lightning connection. And whilst they've touted Lightning as their own proprietary connection to enable them to do some things that other smartphones can't do, well, we haven't actually seen anything. Instead, the rest of the world has standardized on USB-C. And I'll admit, like myself, as someone who carries around both an iPhone and Android, that having just one device with a different connection type is really frustrating. USB-C allows for faster charging speeds and faster data transfer, which actually brings me on to another reason why USB-C beats Lightning, at least with how Apple and kind of Android have always been, and that is how you can connect the S22 Ultra to your computer and basically use it as a USB flash drive. Like connect an iPhone to your computer, the best you can do is transfer your photos and videos from this thing. And did you also know that you can actually connect your S22 Ultra to any other USB-C device and it will charge? Great for charging your headphones or even a totally different phone. So when you're in a pinch, you can use your S22 Ultra to charge your iPhone. So USB-C and Android's ability to just use it properly makes it far better than any iPhone, and they're significantly lacking Lightning ports. Speaking of charging, number 4 is reverse wireless charging. Now, if you're a hardcore iPhone user, then you'll know all about wireless charging, but have you heard of reverse wireless charging? Now, with the S22 Ultra and many other Android phones, in all honesty, you can charge any other wireless device off the back of the phone. Now I have found this genuinely useful when I'm out with my wife, who just never ever charges her phone. Let me know if your partner's the same as mine. But if they are low on power, you can just simply enable reverse wireless charging on your Android phone, and you can charge their phone, certainly not full, but you can give them a pretty decent charge whilst you just sat there having your food. Now this is genuinely really great because you don't need to bring any cables with you, and it just works on basically any device that has wireless charging. The next 2 features are ones that are fairly unique to the S22 Ultra, or at least Samsung, I guess, specifically. And the first one is the built-in S Pen. Now the S Pen does come included with the phone this time, and is even stored in the phone for kind of your convenience, of course, rather than sold as a separate accessory for some Apple products. And although I found this to be a bit of a Marmite accessory, with some people never using one and some not knowing how they survived without one, the S Pen does allow for some interesting use cases. Drawing and scribbling notes, yes, of course, but also using it as a remote for snapping photos or skipping music tracks on Spotify, and just so much more. Now, another feature that not everybody uses, Dex. Now this is an incredible feature that lets you hook up your S22 Ultra to a monitor, a keyboard and mouse, and the interface just completely changes into more of a desktop operating system. Now this is exactly what Apple's iPad should be capable of, especially considering they're now shipping the new M series of chipsets into the latest generation iPads, but still, no dice for now. For those who use it, Dex is extremely powerful and you get way more of a desktop multitasking experience of, Google Chrome, your email client, YouTube, and just many other apps which you can run on a much larger screen. And all of this powered by this tiny, tiny little phone. It's actually quite something. Now, number 7 is a really simple but also really frustrating feature that's missing in iOS, and that is the simple ability to store your photos anywhere you please and not be penalized for it. Now, what do I mean about that? Well, the easiest way to explain this is to explain, I guess, how Apple works with an iPhone. Say you use Google Photos to store and back up all of your photos on your iPhone because it's maybe cheaper, or you're already using the whole Gmail, G Suite ecosystem thing. If I go to a website, say like eBay or Facebook, let's use Facebook as an example. I go to Facebook and I want to upload a photo. Now the only option I see is to upload from my photos library or my camera roll. And that photos library is the Apple's photos library. There's not any other option to browse photos in any other app. Now the workaround is that you have to then open up your Photos app or Google Photos or Amazon Photos, whatever it might be, try and figure out how to download and save that photo to your camera roll, and I'll be honest, this is a huge struggle in Google Photos right now. And then once it's on your camera roll, now you can upload it to Facebook or whichever social media app you're trying to upload it to. But with Android, you get none of this like hot mess. Simply upload a photo, choose what app the photo is coming from, and you're done. It is so simple. The thing we've seen with Android in general, the customizations, the iterations year on year, shows that the S22 Ultra is specifically kind of unique, if I can call it that. It looks nothing like last year's version and the year before that. They are inherently unique each and every year. Whereas the iPhone just looks the same as every year, really. In fact, you can pick up an iPhone 12 and still struggle to identify if it's an iPhone 13 or iPhone 14. The iPhone definitely feels a little bit boring, just year over year. I know, because I have one too. So it is nice to have something totally different with the shape, like cameras and the whole design of the S22 Ultra this year. Even though some features may be a bit Marmite with them basically combining the Note with the S22 range. But speaking of Apple just keeping things the same every year, there is one thing that Apple has a habit of changing, and that is just removing useful features, specifically hardware features, from first the headphone jack, now to even the SIM tray. Now this is the first year where Apple has made a somewhat shocking move to completely remove the SIM tray from the latest iPhone, but curiously only from the US range. I've got a UK model here, so I still have a SIM tray, but not so with the S22 Ultra, which currently retains the ability to quickly and easily swap your SIM cards between your phones. So that means when it comes to upgrading to the S23, you can just pull the SIM card out, pop it in, and you're away to the races. Now as a tech reviewer, this personally makes reviewing like phones a much easier thing to do. Like I doubt many tech reviewers this year have even bothered to try and port their SIM to an eSIM, then just review the phone, then have to hassle of porting it back to either another eSIM or a full SIM on their other phone. It just feels a bit unnecessary. But closing out with number 10 now of the 10 ways the S22 Ultra beats the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max: pricing and discounts. Now pricing will of course vary like country to country, but Apple are very well known for not offering discounts on, well, anything. Now this is the complete opposite when it comes to Samsung. Like right now, you can go to the Samsung online store and buy the phone, yes, full price, but when buying the phone, you'll also get some, I guess, genuinely useful gifts and discounts on other purchases. Now these I'm sure will vary depending on the country you're in and the time of year, but right now you can get 12 months of Disney Plus free with your phone. You get 10% off of a laptop, any Samsung laptop. You get 15% off of Galaxy Buds, a Galaxy Watch, or power adapters, and 20% off of smart tags. You also earn reward points when buying from the Samsung store, which you can then, put towards other purchases for an overall experience that, whilst we know the discounts are offered to, just try and get you to buy more things, it's really good. For many people, when it comes to upgrading their phone, they're likely going to grab, a new case, but maybe also a new watch and some earbuds. So it is nice to know that you can pick these up at a discount when doing so. I'm sure most of us would love for Apple to offer something like this, but that's not exactly how you become the most valuable company in the world, is it? What other things did I miss about how the S22 Ultra wins over the iPhone 14 Pro lineup? And if you want to butter your bread on both sides, check out the other side of this discussion right here, and I'll see you there.